Good night, team.
Good evening, good night, and welcome to all of you who are joining tonight's NSB HISIG General Body Meeting. My name is John Thomas, and it is my delight to welcome you to today's presentation and introduce to you the new members of the leadership team. Just a quick point, a couple of notes for housekeeping purposes. We will ask that folks are able to mute their audio and turn off their video to keep the focus on the presenter and the presentation content. Secondly, we'll ask you to please use the chat feature for any questions that you may have or any technical issues that may arise during the presentation. Specifically, you're able to post your question or item of concern to everyone in the chat, and please refrain from using the private chat feature or direct messaging feature. Finally, there is a Q&A session towards the end of the meeting, and we ask that you wait to share your questions at that time, at which point we'll afford you the opportunity to engage with the incoming leadership team. However, if you do forget to post your question to everyone, feel free to add a leader in the chat of Q&A and then type your question to follow. Finally, be open-minded, have fun, and have your questions ready. Just to give you some advanced insight into what this evening will look like, I'm sharing with you the agenda for the evening, initiated by my welcome and opening remarks, to be followed by the introduction of the HISIG leadership team and our advisory board members, followed by updates on the HISIG membership activities for the 2020-2021 year, and then a discussion led by the supporting members of the team focused on the HISIG quarterly newsletter and opportunities to get involved. As I mentioned earlier, we will have and close with our Q&A session to engage the HISIG membership and those attending tonight's presentation. No HISIG meeting would be complete without our sharing the team's mission and vision. Specifically, within the National Society of Black Engineers, the Healthcare Innovation Team, HISIG for short, is really driven by a mission and vision. These are our HISIG mission is to promote the development and implementation of innovations that will improve diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of injury, illness, and disease. And our grand vision is to be the most trusted ecosystem for technical expertise and solutions to complex healthcare problems impacting the Black community. How do we achieve this? The HISIG mission is achieved through our care strategy, which is an acronym for connecting, advancing, recruitment, and the education and exposure of our members. Specifically, to share in kind, connecting the members is really about the HISIG team's efforts to connect members to healthcare innovation with professionals in academia, government, and industry for mentorship, professional development, and career opportunities. The A in the care strategy is really the efforts to advance healthcare innovation through research, development, and commercialization. As I mentioned, the R is our efforts to support recruitment and retention efforts of NSBE members interested in healthcare innovation. And finally, the E describes our efforts to educate and expose members and the Black community to healthcare disparities, innovation, and career opportunities. As you see through the image in the center, HISIG, which was pioneered in 2016, has really experienced and enjoyed meteoric growth over the years to date, with over 600% membership growth. And you're also seeing how our efforts across the care strategy relate to recruitment and retention of members, education, and their exposure as it relates to career and disparities, the efforts to connect across academia, government, and industry, and then as well the efforts to advance research, development, and commercialization. So a little about me. My name is John Thomas. As I mentioned, I am the founding director of NSBE's Healthcare Innovation Team. I am a mechanical materials engineer by undergrad training that is dualed with a life sciences degree and an advanced degree in biomedical engineering, all from Queen's University. As it relates to my career, I've been fortunate to have a global career across the Americas as far as east as Japan. And so I'm an industry experienced R&D technical leader. I started in the humble beginnings of automotive, but then transitioned into healthcare shortly thereafter. I've been a NSBE professional since 2009 and champion efforts in and around engineering diversity, equity, and inclusion. Certainly, no medical device engineer would be complete without having a deep ingrained passion for patient advocacy, as well as global access of our innovations. So in my role as HISIG lead, really been supporting a number of exciting initiatives with partners who have been with us from the beginning journey in 2016, namely the Biomedical Engineering Society, and then recent newcomers and serial contributors, including Pfizer, Medtronic, newcomers, Microsoft, Siemens Healthineers, and we'd be remiss without mentioning another partnership of power through the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine and the nimble organizations as well. We're also excited this year to initiate a partnership with MedTech Color. With that insight provided, it is my delight to introduce to you our Professionals Executive Board Chair-elect and my predecessor, Arthur Edge, to share a little bit about his experiences, background as it relates to NSBE and NSBE HISIG. Arthur.
Hey, thanks so much, John. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on when you watch this, even in the future for the recording. I'm Arthur Edge, have the humble honor and pleasure of serving as the National Professionals Chair-elect and also as the past director or director emeritus for HISIG. Just a little bit about me. My background is in chemical engineering, so shout out to any fellow chemies who might be on the call. I work in healthcare, of course, but specifically in the biopharm space at AstraZeneca. You know, no stranger to some of the work we're doing. We've been in the news, or we stay in the news, especially recently. But really, my background is in biotech and biopharm, and through volunteering in workforce development and STEM education. Quick fun fact, you know, I really enjoy swing and salsa dancing and have been able to take that to a performance level. So if you're ever in the DC, Maryland area, happy to connect and catch you on the dance floor. A couple of things that I'm doing, you know, in my NSBE service roles to support HISIG are really in the space of strategic initiatives. So for our partners and partnerships, developing kind of broad agreements that we call MOUs or memorandums of understanding. And then it's really supporting HISIG and its programs to scale them across the US and globally. We have, for example, some strategic partners, both chapters and companies in Ghana, who want to increase partnership opportunities and really impact the local community there. As of 2 weeks ago, had some individuals reach out wanting to create a chapter and opportunities in Brazil. And then last but not least, you know, one of the areas that I'm spending my time in, which I'm always happy to have people partner on, is in the area of data analytics and membership insights. So we have a partnership with IBM to build what we're calling a data hub and accelerator. And think of this as a space where we can have the data to do research on our own demographics. So it's research kind of for us, by us, and taking all of the membership insights, social media insights, workforce development, being able to track members who start very early in NSBE through their career, and then of course in this space in healthcare, to really know what drives progression and success. And so I lead that strategic work for the organization. So happy to see and meet everybody and look forward to questions later. So with that, I will transition back to you, John, to continue with the board intros.
Thank you, Brother Arthur. So good to have you join and your contributions as you ascend within the society in your PB Chair-elect role. It is with great excitement and pride that I introduce to you one of HISIG's recent additions and serving in the capacity of Deputy Director, Mr. Gerald Hammond. Gary.
Thanks, John. So I'm Garrod Hamilton. Use Gary professionally. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the University of the West Indies in Trinidad, and also a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Southbank University in London. So one of the key thing is that I'm one of the only one that hasn't been educated here in the USA, but still shine the light bright, to represent the Caribbean and the UK as part of the HISIG board. In my career now, I'm a senior vice president of WSP. WSP is one of the largest infrastructure and engineering consultancy company in the world. My specialty is healthcare. I design and build hospitals, both in the US and globally. That's something that I bring that's a bit different in bringing to the HISIG team, in that I'm on the healthcare delivery side. That's something that I'm passionate about. I'm a licensed engineer in 17 states. I also am a licensed engineer in Europe as well. Um, I also, a little fun fact. I'm actually an author. I wrote a motivational book called "Get the Use Bible," which is part of the way of giving back to my community in Jamaica, where I was from. I have a nonprofit organization called Dream to Reality Foundation, which is a motivational and a inspirational type of organization that empower youths. I do a lot of community involvement, and also we adopted a hospital in Jamaica in which we give different contribution to, and also do several infrastructure projects in that country as well. One of the, in terms of my career, one of my highlights is I was actually the first African American fellow of the American Society of Healthcare Engineers, which is a part of the American Hospital Association. So I'm happy to be part of this board. So some of my initiatives that I will be looking at, apart from being a supporter and a backup for many of the board members, I'll be taking care of the strategic initiative and all the strategic plans that we're looking at. We're inherited a great strategic by the previous team. So we're just basically enhancing it and adding to that plan. One of one of the strategies to really try to grow HISIG and increase membership, or portfolio around to really enhance healthcare delivery as a main part of that. One of the project that I'm working on now is really to really bring healthcare to underserved communities. I'm doing that in Washington D.C., and I'm doing a project for IU Health that's really doing that, and that's something that I plan to bring to Fort, that we can push to expand and try to bring healthcare and good healthcare to underserved communities. So thank you for the opportunity to serve as your board member, and I'm excited to see what we can do for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing your comments. It's so delighted to have both you professionally and your contributions on the HISIG leadership team. It is now with equal delight and pleasure that I introduce our next recent addition to the HISIG leadership team, Dr. Joshua Gray. Dr. Gray.
Hello, hello, hello. I am excited for this opportunity to introduce myself to you all. My name is Dr. Joshua Gray. A little bit about my background. My bachelor's is actually in industrial engineering. I'm one of the few non-biomedical engineers involved on this board, somewhat like the previous speaker and friend of mine, Gary. I got my bachelor's at Florida State University, master's in management engineering, actually from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and my PhD in systems engineering from the University of Southern California. So all of these letters that you see behind my name, just to shed some light on that, have the fortunate opportunity to get a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certification from General Electric, which drives my passion for healthcare delivery when it comes to safety as well as quality of care. The project management professional certification I received from the Project Management Institute while serving as an associate consultant within Booz Allen Hamilton in the DC area, where I had the wonderful opportunity to work with the Wounded Warrior programs within the Department of Defense at the Pentagon, as well as Veterans Affairs on their benefits affiliation. The Health Technology Engineer, or HTE certification, is really affiliated with my PhD at USC. My focus was in health systems, again, more so on the delivery side, specifically within the home health environment for pediatrics, which transfers to the geriatrics area. So currently, I serve as an entrepreneur, president of the Lukeman Consulting Group, which focuses on transformation consulting when it comes to public health sector, especially in the area of healthcare delivery. I just actually left a call as a welcome to Rice University. I recently became a professor of practice within their Center for Engineering Leadership, where I actually teach engineering economics, hence my role as treasurer within the Healthcare Innovations Group. And prior to that, and still in a part-time aspect, I serve as a lecturer in industrial and systems engineering at Georgia Tech, which has been number one in industrial and systems engineering for the past, I'll say 2, 3 decades. In addition to this role and the various hats that I wear, I serve as president of the Houston Professionals chapter. And just a short shout out here, we are partnering with the PISIG in the upcoming future as one of our initiatives as I transition into my talk on initiatives to spotlight members in partnership again with the process improvement SIG, given my Lean Six Sigma background. And I invite you all to participate in that as well, taking place on October the 26th from 7:30 to 9 Eastern Time. And feel free to email me if you would like more details on that. And we are anticipating opportunities for us to highlight you all in the future as well. So, with that said, a little bit more on the initiatives that I have as treasurer of HISIG is really related to our chapter grants. We had the fortunate opportunity as I came into this role to um, provide with the access revenue that we generated over the last fiscal year to create grants for specific chapters in our strategic regions. So you'll see here on this diagram, our intent is to create an ecosystem to implement and actually expand the care strategy, which had its central location originally on the East Coast, more the Southeast region, to expand across to the West Coast. I relocated from Atlanta, Georgia, actually earlier this year, and talk about ecosystems. I moved here the week before the winter storm that shut down the power in Texas, but I chose to stay so that we can have a hub in Texas as chapter president for the expansion of our ecosystem here. You'll see listed to my right-hand side the chapters that are involved within this chapter grant. We have Boston, the Raleigh Research Triangle Park, as well as Atlanta, um, the greater Philadelphia area, in addition to the DC area, as well as going all the way west to San Diego, and you'll see Houston, my chapter as well. So I encourage you all to really get connected with your local chapters if you aren't already affiliated with them, and explore becoming an ambassador related to the chapter grants as well. So with that said, looking forward to the opportunity of working with you all to, at some capacity within this initiative.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. So delighted to that you're able to share your engineering background with the HISIG membership, as well as welcome with excitement your contributions to the HISIG leadership team in the year ahead. It is now with great delight that I'm able to introduce another recent addition to the HISIG leadership team, Mr. Dolu Obatasin. Dolu.
Yeah, thanks a lot, John. As John mentioned, my name is Dolu Abatasin. I am the programs chair for the HISIG leadership. And just a little bit background about myself. I did study my education is in biomedical engineering, both for bachelor's and my master's. And I'm currently at Mount Sinai working as a programmer analyst. So it's a great honor to be in this position as a biomedical engineer because it allows me to interface with clinicians and engineers, medical device companies. So I get to be like kind of like in the middle of the cutting edge innovation that's occurring in the neuromodulation space. So part of my goal is to be able to bring the engineering discipline principles to advance healthcare and to essentially be able to like help patients. So I'm also patient facing, which is a great mix of opportunities that I have in my current position. And then on the side, I also I'm a code coach at the Coder School based site. So essentially, it's a position that 14 hours out of my week, it's not volunteer, it is paid. But I mentor students in various programming languages, and also provide them with exposure to to just to opportunities in engineering that may not otherwise be able to get access to. I also, would like to mention that I've been a NESB member since 2008. Actually, I've been part of Region One. You know, I don't know if anyone is from Region One here. So I've been part of NESB. I love this family, and it's definitely been uh, a great family that supported me throughout my career, and being the program chair is giving me the opportunity to give back in many ways. And I'm also somewhat involved in our the New York NSB professional chapter as well. So, what are some of the initiatives that you guys can look forward to? Well, so as you've already heard from author that Nimble is a big component of what HISIG is has partnered with, and Nimble as it says here, it stands for the National Institute for Innovation in Manufacturing Biopharmaceuticals. So this is a program that's catered to freshmen and sophomore students from historically Black universities and colleges, and for underrepresented minorities. And it's a program that's been going strong for, I want to say, about 3 years now, with the new cohort actually starting next year. And applications actually are opening up tomorrow, October 15th. So I would definitely implore you all to look out for emails from our communication zone when that comes out. So it's a great opportunity for students to learn about biopharmaceutical industry and get exposure. As someone who's currently who has studied biomedical engineering and is working as a program analyst at Mount Sinai. The reason why I got into this to my current field is because of opportunities like this, where I was exposed as a high school student to engineering, and it's definitely opened up a world of opportunities for me. So if anyone's interested, or someone who may be interested, I would definitely encourage you to share this with them. And then some of the other initiatives that you guys can look forward to from us are activities like design competitions or pitch competitions, right? So we've done some of these activities in the past. I myself have participated in some of these activities that before I became a HISIG board member. For example, like the Nurse Hack for Health. It was a great program that happened earlier this year, where engineers and nurses would get together and essentially for a whole weekend work on problems that the nurses face in the hospital. And I think it was in partnership with Microsoft, so we had access to like their tools to do some prototyping for that event. So these are things that I like to do, and I'm hoping that I can bring more of this along with the team to you all. And then also just overall to develop partnerships with academia and industry to in alignment with the the care strategy. So this would be focused on the advancement part and the education and exposure side of things. Yeah, so I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you all and getting to know you all more. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this meeting. Thanks.
Thanks, Dolu, for sharing your engineering background and path towards the HISIG leadership team. We're delighted to have you and your contributions.
Thanks, John.
It is now with equal delight that it is my pleasure to introduce Ron Burke, who serves in the capacity of HISIG Partnership Lead, to share a little bit about his background and what he hopes to achieve in this year of that role. Ron.
All right, greetings, everyone. My name is Ronald McCullough. I have a bachelor's of science in biology from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. When I attained my degree, I was 19 years old. So I'm kind of like the baby of HISIG. Then I went to North Carolina A&T State University and attained my master's degree in biomedical engineering. And currently I'm a third year PhD student working on my Doctor of Philosophy and Organizational Leadership at a small school in Atlanta called Beulah Heights University, where my dissertation topic is supposed to center around drug delivery, the leadership of drug delivery and healthcare when it comes to outer space systems. As a career, I serve as an adjunct professor of biology at several institutions, including my alma mater, Clark Atlanta University, as well as Atlanta Technical College, where I teach biology, anatomy, physiology, microbiology, anything of the sort. I can teach it. I also work as a healthcare career advisor at Clark Atlanta University, and I also served as the healthcare career director at Atlanta Metropolitan State College for a time. And I'm just pretty much just blown away by every day by my e-board, by my fellow e-board. I serve as the partnership lead, so my role is to pretty much manage and maintain the relationships created with some of the companies that were mentioned earlier in the slides. And my main task, as Dr. Gray talked about, is to pretty much create the main ecosystems that we were speaking of in the different parts of the United States. I, with assistance, of course, created a real-time updatable partnership matrix database, which is something I'm really, really proud about. Basically, I can enter all of the information from the partners, and you can easily find information about people in your area that work in the healthcare, academia, or government fields. And I'm very into leading proactive development of new opportunities, especially with my students. I tell them all the time to join NSBE and to join HISIG. I actually personally chartered 2 NSBE chapters, one at Atlanta Metropolitan State College and one at Atlanta Technical College. And just to show those students that, you have students at Harvard and Yale that are NSBE students, but even at a technical college, you can come in and you can come to the healthcare industry and you can make noise as well. So I just try to be an advocate for the National Society of Black Engineers, especially on the healthcare side. And on the side, I am a professional thrift shopper. I highly doubt anyone in the call could penny pinch as well as I can when it comes to the thrift store. I also sell vintage fashion. So if you need some winter and fall looks, then look no further. And that's just a little bit about me. I'm just honored to be here. And every time I hear about my fellow board members, I am literally just starstruck for these heavy hitters in the healthcare industry. And I hope that you are too.
Thank you, Ron, for sharing your engineering and healthcare background, as well as your contributions continued with the HISIG leadership team. It is now with equal delight and excitement I introduce you to our current HISIG secretary, Ms. Jasmine Bullock. Jasmine. seems that she's experiencing technical difficulty. So in interest of keeping our time, I'll share with you a little bit of background of Jasmine. She's a computer science junior at North Carolina A&T University, and also professionally is a teaching assistant within a local high school in Greensboro, North Carolina. She also did intern at JP Morgan and Chase and Company, and her fun fact is that she's a band member for North Carolina A&T State. Jasmine's responsibilities within her role really ensure to help that the HISIG leadership team is in order. So anything from helping to capture meeting minutes, sending out communications to the rest of the team, helping to schedule discussions with partners that you heard of, and really doing a great job within that. It is now my equal delight and pleasure to introduce the next newcomer to the HISIG leadership team, Paulina Captain, who serves in the role of social media chair. Paulina.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Paulina Captain, and I serve as the social media chair for the 2021 to 2023 year. I am a junior bioinformatics student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and I intern currently at CVS Health, and I'm a certified pharmacy technician at CVS. And I'm also a research assistant at the UMBC Effective Computing Behavioral Interactions Lab. And we basically work on stress reflection systems for paramedics. And some of my roles are to we created and leverage a YouTube channel for HISIG and Twitter, and I'm responsible for most of the communications that go on in partnership with the communications chair. And one of my goals this year is to work with the leadership to fully execute social media initiatives and also have a committee for communications this year. If anyone is interested in being part of our communications committee, kindly shoot me an email at healthcaresocialmedia@nesb.org. And also, I would love to work with the executive leadership and other social media chairs to just leverage communications in NESB. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Delighted to have you share your background with the HISIG membership as well as your contributions. It is also with equal excitement and pride that I introduce to you our next recent addition to the HISIG leadership team, serving in the capacity of membership chair, Ms. Nubila Levin. Nubila.
Hi, my name is Nabila Lavan. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering from Arizona State University, as well as a Master of Science in Information Systems from University of Phoenix. I am currently in my third year doctoral of Educational Technology from University of Phoenix. And as a career choice, I'm a software quality assurance engineer, as well as a senior pharmacy technician. I hold certifications in electrical and computer engineering and training, as well as an ISTQB advanced software testing and analyst certification, and an ASHP certificate in pharmacy informatics. My initiatives, I wish to establish the HISIG Ambassador Program, where An appointed NSBE chapter member connects members in their own local chapter and serves as a relationship manager for local academia, government, and industry partners. I also wish to profile HISIG members for short TED Talks, Q&A session to talk about their accomplishments in producing HISIG innovations, career success, or alleviating healthcare disparities. I want to develop enhanced member intake processes through the NSBE website and launch the new HISIG website, as well as improve member sign-up, renewal, and engagement processes with an emphasis to transition collegiate members into signing up as professionals. And I am glad to serve as your membership chair.
Thank you, Nabila. So good to have you as part of the team. And thanks for sharing your engineering background and industry experience as you joined the HISIG leadership team for the year. Now, it is with equal delight and excitement that I introduce the man who needs no introduction, Brother Tony Black of the former HISIG leadership team and a serial supporter of HISIG since 2016. Tony will share with you a bit about his technical background, industry path, and contributions that are really indelible and lasting to HISIG. Welcome, Tony.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Is my slide up? There we go. Well, thank you. My name is Tony Black. I am the healthcare advisor. I support the communications chair and social media chair for HISIG. I am currently a healthcare life sciences technical leader at IBM. I have my Bachelor of Science from University of Michigan and currently working on my MBA at University of Illinois. So I am a Big Tensman. As I said, I am one of the healthcare advisors on the board, and I participate in additional boards as well. Just really briefly, I'm a member of the Open Group Healthcare Forum. The Open Group is an architecture-based, technology architecture-based forum. I represent 3 boards for HIMSS, the HIMSS Society. I'm on the Professional Certification Board, where we govern the certifications, the CA HIMSS and CP HIMSS. I'm also a member of the International Tiger Task Force, where we work on informatics, data and information, curating that information for educational and professional purposes. And locally, I am a communications leader for the Greater Illinois chapter for HIMSS. Additionally, I've risen to the ranks of becoming a HIMSS Fellow, which allows me to strengthen my networking and platform capability for the healthcare life sciences messaging. I hold about a couple of dozen of certifications, pretty much including healthcare, technology, and privacy industries, because I believe there's a natural integration between those industries and those certifications. So I like to talk about the messaging and the integration between those industries and how that elevates one. Additionally, I'm an alumni of Upward Bound, Inroads, as well as NSBE. Next slide. I have a couple initiatives that I work on. Again, I said I support the communications chair and social media chairs to actually grow and engage and recruit members into the communications arm of HISIG. So no matter if you are a healthcare life sciences expert, if you've been in this arena for a couple of years, or if you're on the outside looking in, if you have an acumen, show interest, or wish to learn more about the HISIG communications, please reach out to us. As Paulina said, we do have an active and engaging committee. We have a number of responsibilities that we would like to share, recruit, and engage and share with you. So that can be through various events, tasks, workshops, what have you. If you have 10 hours a week, great. If you have 2 hours a week, that's fine. If you have 20 minutes, not a problem. We have a need for all backgrounds, experiences, as well as perspectives. And just to wrap this up, again, the reason I mention all of these different boards is because I like to, I have a way of collaborating and curating these for my experience and background, network, and platform to enhance and evangelize the messaging of NISB HISIG in the aspects of give back, panel discussions, town halls, etc. So again, if you have an interest or curious about understanding more and learning more about HISIG and communications, please reach out to us. We have a great diversity in our backgrounds and experiences, as you have seen and heard throughout the presentation this evening. So all are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you there, Tone. We very much appreciate your sharing with the HISIG membership, your technical background, path through industry, and then continued contributions to HISIG. We certainly wouldn't be where we are without those contributions. It is now with delight I invite Nubila to deliver the membership report to the HISIG membership. Nubila.
Yes, as of October 2020, our total membership is 970. 970 members have renewed. Of those, 637 are collegiate, 285 professional, and 47 lifetime for 2020. And for 2021, we have 933 members, 578 collegiate, and 292 professionals, 63 lifetime members. My goals for membership for the current year are to increase total membership by 10% by 2022, transition more collegiates into the professional membership after graduation, and increase engagement in HISIG programs and activities, and develop engagement metrics and tracking for 2022, and increase awareness of benefits of lifetime membership. And as far as the spread in terms of degrees for the collegiate members, the highest number of members we have is in the biomedical, whereas for the professionals, the highest number of members we have is for mechanical engineering. And we have some surveys for October 21. And you're welcome to look those over. We have the top 18 you're welcome to look this slide deck over. And I welcome all of you to sign up for committee sign up. We have a number of roles, if you have heard, for communications. You can serve under social media, marketing, PR, newsletters, under membership. We have member ROI, survey insights, engagement, recognition, recruitment, HISIG ambassador. You're welcome to sign up for any of those roles as a membership committee member. For programs, you can support nimble partnerships, conferences, webinars, training, community outreach, research, technology projects, as well as design challenges. And for academia, you can support BMES partnerships, secondary and post-secondary partnerships and curriculum. And for finance and partnerships, you can support corporate partnerships, finance strategy, grants, strategic partnerships, and ecosystem building. If you would like to join one of these as a committee member, please drop a line in the chat with your email address and selected zone separated by a comma, and just put finance or academia or programs or membership or communications, and someone will get back to you. And thank you very much for in advance for signing up for one of these committees. We would love to have you aboard as one of our committee members and to help to get you involved with health innovations.
Thank you, Nabila. Very much appreciate the report and the metrics that you were shared, as well as the HISIG efforts in through to the 2022 year. Certainly ambitious goals, but with this highly engaged, passionate, and capable team, I have every confidence that we will not only meet the NSB mission as it relates to HISIG's missional efforts and vision, all supported by the CARE strategy. At this point, we've come to the question and answer opportunity for the membership, and happy to engage and entertain questions from the membership. Feel free to post your questions in the chat or use the raised hand feature, and we'll be happy to spotlight you to ask your question to the HISIG leadership team, past and present.
Hey, good evening. I have a question. My name is Douglas Jones. So I apologize. My day ran a bit longer than expected, so I missed a significant portion of this. My question is, has this been recorded? And would it, if so, would it be disseminated to the attendees this evening?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Jones. And which region are you representing, and which city are you calling out and joining us from?
Yes, the NSB NYC professional chapter.
Okay, very good. So certainly that will be met with great welcome and excitement, as you may have heard. Recent addition, Dolu Obatasin, also sits in New York as a HISIG leader, and the presentation was recorded and will be made available to those who aren't able to attend from the onset. Thanks for your question.
Hey, John, this is Gary. Hey, Douglas, how you doing?
Hey, Gary, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. It's funny. I saw you ask the question. I just have to say hello, because I know we we're engineers, we're mechanical engineers and designers in the healthcare field. So I just want to say hi and thank you for signing in.
My pleasure.
John, it looks like there are some questions in the chat too, just so you know, in addition to those that come for people off mic.
Good evening. Sorry, this is Joan Grieve. First of all, I'm so honored to be here and seeing all this amazing work. I currently work at the NIH. I've had conversations with Arthur Edge when I was in a different position at a different organization about a variety of things, and I'm always inspired. May I ask this amazing group, are there considerations or has there been previous work that I'm ignorant about in regards to NSBE HISIG interacting with federal funding agencies, either to continue our education or partnerships, trying to build partnerships to close the gaps of the funding gaps that we know that are in place for persons in underrepresented groups in the biomedical workforce?
Yeah, thanks for your question, Ms. Greaves. I think that question is probably most appropriate and best aligned for the HISIG's finance lead that I introduced, Dr. Joshua Gray. Dr. Gray, perhaps you could field that question in response.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the question as well as the opportunity to answer it. Yes, this is something that is within our focus. I invite you. I was actually just attempting to look you up on LinkedIn, but I will provide my contact information for you because I would love to connect with you. It's healthcarefinance@nsbe.org. We do have initiatives, and this is an initiative that's personally passionate of mine as faculty teaching engineering economics. We are interested in making connections both on the corporate, non-for-profit, as well as the government side. You had mentioned NIH, to pursue either for-profit funding or non-for-profit grants or government grants to really advance this exploration. One of the things here in, I'll say, Houston, that we're doing is working with the Texas Medical Center Innovations Group. They have a biodesign, I'll say, cohort that's opening up this, the applications rather are opening up this month. And we are in the process of working with them to diversify the cohort for their upcoming year that, really has been lacking color, I'll say, when it comes to biodesign for people of color. So it's definitely on our radar. We've worked in the past, I know, with Stanford University in this area in their biodesign group. And I was actually just having a conversation with Arthur earlier today about how we can, in a bi-coastal way, work together with both of those groups to provide info sessions, mixers, and really get those who are interested and passionate in that area connected with the institutions and organizations that provide the infrastructure to support people of color in advancing biodesign or other types of innovations to improve, I'll say, one, our health conditions as well as our economic conditions with it, which the COVID pandemic showed are kind of hand in hand.
Thank you so much, John. I will try to find you online. Otherwise, I just dropped my email into the chat, and whoever had a comment after me, the Healthcare Academy is the message there. That's another thing that we could do, is that I have the honor of managing a bunch of a whole spectrum of grants that go across the entire career spectrum. And they're also the R25 grant, which is our biomedical engineering design grant for undergrads, is that if it would make sense for us to give some sort of presentation to a NSBE group somehow, because you guys obviously are across, you guys are not just across universities, but what's amazing about NSBE is that you're also across all these career levels. And then partner with people like Healthcare Academy Academia, who I guess has won an F99 K00, and so they can speak from their own lived experiences. So thank you so much for having me here today. And I apologize, I look a little crazy. I'm sitting in Colorado and it actually snowed today. So.
Wow. Try to stay warm.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Ms. Grieve and Dr. Gray, for your response. To share with the audience, we have a question that's been submitted via the chat. So this question has been posted from Mr. Devin Woodfine, asking the HISIG leadership team, for engineering students in the West Coast, how can we network and assist HISIG to better HISIG network and academic and the engineering students' academic future? Wonderful question. Thanks for asking, Mr. Woodfine. Thoroughly appreciate the question. And I would say, as I think about this, the HISIG footprint, as Dr. Gray had shared, is across the East to the West Coast. So you're welcome to connect with myself or any members of the HISIG leadership team, namely Nubila, who you met tonight, who also leads out the HISIG membership, or Ron, who is also connected by way of the healthcare partnerships, and we can help support and build a plan for you to develop your network. Really, the one-stop shop is to stay aligned, very closely aligned with the HISIG activities through the calendar year, going next into National Convention in Anaheim, and then the Professional Development Conference in Miami next year. So great ways to join include joining a HISIG committee, further to Nubila's encouragement, as well as helping to support the development of the HISIG ecosystems. I'll open the response to any of the other HISIG leaders that may want to build on that before transitioning to the next question. Okay, the floor is now open for any other questions. I think we had another one coming in real time via audio and video. If not, we are now at time and against the schedule. We'll thank you for taking the time out of your evening to share with the incoming HISIG leadership team and keep engaged. Feel free to submit any further questions electronically, and we'd be happy to disseminate and field them to the appropriate HISIG leader for a prompt and swift response. Thank you and good night from myself and the HISIG leadership team.
John, I see a hand raised.
I think we're happy to stay on to take any questions, but we can allow people to drop off as needed. Look like there's a question from Yinka.
Yes, there is. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Olayinka Famadou. I am a fourth-year BME at the University of Akron, and my question might be geared towards Paulina being the social media chair. But I was just wondering when the BMES 2021 photos will be posted on HISIG social media at John Thomas.
Sorry, I was not sure if that was a question for me or Paulina.
So I'll respond to that. I think I have most of the pictures, and I'll share them so that it could get posted next week for the BMS activities of last week.
So it's a work in progress. We'll be posted shortly.
Yes.
Awesome. And where will those be posted exactly?
I think on all our LinkedIn and our Twitter handle.
Yeah, the HISIG media platforms that Paulina leads out. Mm-hmm.
Hi, John. Hi, Gary. This is Sameen. Just quickly, did the BMES happen to post any? I saw one on LinkedIn, but I did not see any additional.
So good to hear your voice, Amin. Thanks for joining. Yeah, given that we're in the wake of that conference, the material and content has been shared with the HISIG social media and communications team, and you can look forward to its receipt in the weeks ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Good to hear you on, Sabine.
Why, thank you, Dr. Gray.
Oh, academia.
Hold on, is that her thing?
Is that Deborah?
Can I comment on
What?
that?
Just as a reminder, if you don't have a question, please mute. And if you do have a question, please come off mute.
Would all of the members or the host of this session be able to put their LinkedIn into the chat for future connections?
Yes, I'll add mine. This is Dr. Gray, and encourage other board members to do so as well.
Absolutely. Done deal.
John, anything else you'd like to cover before we sign off?
No, thanks, Brother Arthur and company for the contributions. Good night.
All right, everyone, have a good night. And remember, Communications Committee is waiting for you.